They're eating the dogs, Kieran, in Tuscaloosa.
They're eating the
you know
dogs.
that?
They were
They're
eating
the dogs.
Oh, a meth raccoon.
Yeah.
Just awful. There is nothing good about this. It's the worst possible scenario for the CFP, for the national championship.
Notre Dame is a mid-program with really good marketing.
And the Michigan players are going to look at that, and anybody who's committing to Michigan in the next years, and just go, I want to beat them even more. Like, I wanted to beat them when I first came to the school. Recruits are going to see this.
And we're also sorry that you have to watch a Brian Kelly coach football team. We can only imagine how difficult that must be for you, knowing that you're not going to win a big game ever with him as your coach, and that you're rooting for a child murderer.
This podcast has gone off to a really weird start, but I like it.
I love it, though. I'm a big fan. We're back with another super fun episode. Kieran did not abandon us like my mother again. He is back for the long haul, at least probably until his wedding.
Yeah.
I gave him permission to take a week off for that.
He's so courteous.
And I try. I'm a benevolent ruler. I think what is the best for my people. I'm not some asshole boss. You can be like, oh, you're getting married? Well, you still got to work a full 8 hours that Friday, buddy.
Yeah, that would be ridiculous.
Clock in. Unrelated. Do you know what happened to Pepsi Max?
No. Has there been something that happened to Pepsi Max?
I don't know, because the branding was always, it was a black can.
Yeah.
And I was drinking a Pepsi Zero Sugar in a black can, so if anyone has any word on the whereabouts of Pepsi Max, please reach out to our people. I am very concerned for its safety. Something who
Pepsi
we don't
Max.
need to be rip Pepsi Max, I guess.
Yeah.
Something we don't need to be concerned about the whereabouts of our Pop-Tarts. Pop-Tarts are taking Ireland, Kieran.
Let's go.
Because I can't talk right now. Because the last two Pop-Tart Bowl champions, the only Pop-Tart Bowl champions, that being Kansas State and Iowa State, are facing off in the Aer Lingus Classic this year. And Pop-Tarts has announced or the Pop-Tarts Bowl, has announced that they're sending the two, and this is their direct quote, surviving mascots to the game. And I have never seen a brand do so well, considering this has nothing to do with what the Pop-Tarts brand has been. They've created an entirely new brand really within a year. Not even a year, within a day.
Truly.
And I'm not saying the Pop-Tarts Bowl is the greatest bowl game we've ever seen, but is the Pop-Tarts Bowl the greatest bowl game that we've ever seen and the best use of a bowl brand that we've seen?
Undoubtedly. Like, Pop-Tarts have always been popular, especially amongst kids. You trade them at school lunches for whatever you can get. Lots of different. They were always popular. You've brought that back in to the adults, the kids that grew up like us with Pop-Tarts. We grew up with Pop-Tarts. And it's kind of like, I haven't had a Pop-Tart in ages. But now, weirdly, I want to have another one because it's been so long. And furthermore, it's just funny. It's just unequivocally a funny thing to do with the brand. And a total resurgence, like feeding into the chaotic energy of the sport. I absolutely love it.
It's so unhinged. You have to respect it. Anyone who doesn't love the Pop-Tart Bowl, not necessarily an individual game within the bowl series, but as a concept and how it's done, either hates fun, college football, or both.
Yeah, they're the true masochists of the world.
Yeah, I mean, college football is the NFL is the uptight father figure who didn't have time for you growing up. So they had to go to their law job, or they were a doctor or a college professor that took it way too seriously. And the Pop-Tarts Bowl is the fun stepdad when your mom finally left his ass. And, it's not, at least, for us, where we have a little different experience being from the Northeast, but it's not necessarily your first experience with a father figure, but it is better than what you had.
Very, very true. It's the perfect amount of kind of foolishness and silliness that you get with a legitimately serious competition. College football, it means a lot, especially to the players. Like, there's the NFL draft on the line. There's millions of dollars waiting for you on the other side of this year. But for the fans, you kind of get this double entertainment thing where you get that these random bowl sponsors. I shouldn't call them random. They've been around, but like just this one of all things. It could have been anything, but it just so happened to be the Pop-Tarts, and they did it in such a spectacular way last bowl season that it's just fun. I mean, there's no other ways to put it.
It is, and I think you raise a good point. Like, you have these kids going out there trying to make it to the NFL, put some last bit on tape unless they're sitting out, and it's a tough competition. People get hurt. It is a violent game. Meanwhile, though, you have, as some fans have put it, a mascot flashing their pop tussie out on their screen. And if anyone's like, wow, that took a while to get that thought out, it's because I'm loading the tweet that's from.
Oh, God, that's going to be part of our intro next year. Oh,
you bet your buddy, it might be a part of our intro starting next week. I've been saying for a while I have to take out the Brian Kelly thing. We're replacing it with the Pop Tussie.
Oh, that's gonna be great. Oh, that's funny.
If my computer could load, that'd be lovely. Nope. Did not mean to remove that. My computer's having a meltdown. I need a new laptop.
That's great.
I don't even know if it's on the screen. It's just...
It is. It is to me.
Okay. All right. Now it finally is for me. So I did not just pull that phrase out of nowhere. But yeah, so you got kids fighting for their school and then whatever this is, and I love it.
Oh, gosh. It's going to be a wild season, ain't it?
Oh, this is just the beginning, Kieran.
Speaking of wild seasons.
This isn't that wild. It's more realignment, which 5 years ago would have been wild, but it's...
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm just bored of it. I don't care that Grand Canyon is going to the Mountain West after they were pillaged by the Pac-12.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
It's news that maybe we had to talk about, but do you have any thoughts on the Mountain West getting Grand Canyon University?
No, of course not. Who cares? Unless they have like some insane Cinderella run. And I can't remember. Did we discuss this like 4 or 5 weeks ago? That does Grand Canyon even have a football team?
I don't know.
I legitimately don't know. Like, who cares? Like, even if they did, okay, let's assume I haven't looked up anything because that's Kevin's job. But even if they did, who gives a shit? Like, it makes absolutely no difference to the whole scheme of things. Arguably, any teams that they did or would play would be better than them and run them off the field. And even if they did have a storyline franchise, they're not going to beat a Big Four team. So why do we care?
They also do not have a football team with zero plans to add one.
So
I understand they've made March Madness in basketball, but I don't see why you're replacing some of these programs that you've lost with Grand Canyon University. You know who does care, Kieran?
Who?
The investors. And
okay.
What are our bodies if not vessels for generating shareholder value? Unfortunately, the Grand Canyon Education Inc. stock NASDAQ ticker LOPE, is down $1 since this news was announced. So from the college football podcast to college football fans to the stock market, we do not care.
It was a wild jump. This is like the Pac-12 adding Gonzaga to their lineup. Sure, they're great at basketball and whatever, but ultimately, if it's not college football, we don't care. I'm going to tell you right now, we don't care.
Staying within the region, though, we're going to talk about the Big 12. Rat Yormark, who we've talked about on the show before, is pushing for the 5+11 model and is expecting ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips to do the same. It's going to be real awkward when the Big 12 or the ACC is not one of those 5 and like the Sun Belt gets one.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty funny. I don't get why they're pushing all these different models. It's the top. This is how it goes. Top 4 seeds are the conference winners. Everyone else fights for it's the next best. That's how it should be done. We're over this. We're over this realignment BS.
I hate the 16-team model. I hated the 12-team model too. I was okay with the 14 model.
Yeah.
But it's
money. It's money.
At what point is enough? At what point are we going to go, maybe we should not be giving these kids their certificate of having CTE along with their diploma?
Mm-hmm. It's going to come down to there's going to be 4 essentially preseason games. The warm-up games that happen at week 0, technically week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and then it's just tournaments. Like you play and you advance, you lose and you go home. That's how it's going to be. It's going to be March Madness style. We're going to go all the way through to December, and that way the best team wins. It's simple as that.
So stupid. I hate it. I hate that our sweet, sweet game is being forced to become a doctor or lawyer like our dad instead of our cool, fun stepdad.
Yeah. The fun uncle.
Insanity. The Big 12 also was complaining, and they are scrapping their preseason conference media poll because Arizona State was picked 16th, which hurt them all the way to the college football playoff. I actually don't hate this. I think preseason polls are inherently stupid.
Yes. I agree. Preseason polls are stupid. I mean, ASU is a perfect example of this, but also what absolute cowardice by the Big 12 just going, oh no, the technically worst team on paper, instead of having a Cinderella-like story where they were put down at the bottom to rise through the ranks and get a playoff berth. It's so cowardly. Like, do it next year when things return to normal. And one of the things was that I'm trying to remember it here. They said, something about they didn't want the Sun Devils or any other team to get this kind of underdog mentality, which would ruin the game of college football. Something along those lines. And I'm like, oh, what cowardice!
What?
Yeah. There was a quote from someone. I'm trying to find it now, and I can't, so I feel real stupid. But yeah, somebody was just like, oh yeah, we don't want teams to get the idea that they're underdogs. I'm like, oh, you guys are just cowards because ASU dominated. That's not their fault.
Yeah, that's insane. That's so stupid. Everyone loves an underdog.
Yeah.
And look, Big 12. If Texas were still in the conference, you're like, we don't want underdogs. We would not agree with it, but we'd understand why you're saying that because Texas was your special little boy. But now you should want underdogs because people will root for them. People will want to watch your conference. They will want to see your underdog do well, and you're going to bitch out and get rid of that opportunity. Are you afraid the players' feelings are going to get hurt? I mean, I'm big on player rights, players being able to do what they want, not crazy, but to a point, player protections. But I don't care if these players get hurt if they're viewed as an underdog. They can either take it and ride that all the way along with Cam Scatabo to the college football playoffs, or they can turn around and prove everyone right by folding. And this just takes that away, and I hate it. I hate the Big 12, and I hate everything the Big 12 stands for.
College football has really gone downhill pretty quick.
It really has. It's a shame. And you know who I blame, Kieran?
Who?
Scott Frost.
Oh, perfect.
I don't actually blame Scott Frost. He was just someone who took a better job and then got real lazy. But he was asked kind of what has he learned? What did he learn from that experience as he's about to take over for UCF, or he might have already? He said, don't take the wrong job. Kieran, what were your thoughts on Scott Frost's comments?
I would say that, I mean, he's right, but at the same time, these are college football coaches and whatnot. They should be taking the best opportunity to make them look great. So, yeah, you should. If you take the wrong job, it's really on you because you've clearly gone in for an interview and seen what's happened, and now you're blaming everyone else for your shortcomings. Doesn't really work that way.
I don't think he's wrong in saying don't take the wrong job. This was not the wrong job. You were the wrong hire.
Yeah.
Nobody is going to look back and go, man, if only Scott Frost could catch a break while he wasn't recruiting and doing a big part of his job. No, Scott Frost, it was very well documented that you weren't recruiting. You did not try once you got to Nebraska. You said, oh, I went because it was home and I felt like I could help them win, and then proceeded to not try to help them win. And Scott Frost, and I don't know if this is just because all Nebraska fans were either 12 to 15 when they were last good, and that's the only fans they have now, or if I just don't run across them on Twitter. I feel like they gave Scott Frost a pretty big pass. I have not seen a lot of Scott Frost hate. I've just seen kind of, yeah, it didn't work out. We're moving on. And to now go at the school and say, oh, I took the wrong job. It was a Nebraska issue, not a Scotty Frost issue, is cowardly. Mm-hmm. It's unbelievably stupid. And it makes you look bad.
It does.
It makes you look horrendous.
If you made a mistake, just own up to the fact that you made a mistake, and everybody will be like, yeah, okay, sorry. It sucks. It didn't work. But like you said, this is something that it's your fault that this didn't work out. It's not something that you weren't given the opportunity to, I don't want to say turn the program around, but at least make it more like it was in the old days with that blue blood kind of football. It's on you. The onus to get a team to at the very least a playoff and at most national championship is on the coach. The players can play as well as they can, but if they don't have the strategy or the tactics or whatever to actually back up their skills and abilities, then it's completely pointless, and it's just going to land as a dud after dud after dud unless changes are made.
Or if a coach decides to go or make an onside kick attempt while up 28-17 and then going to lose the game. I think if he had given that with a little more nuance behind it, where said, yeah, don't take the wrong job. It was clearly the wrong job for me. We had different expectations for how I would be doing the job. And kind of took some of the blame. Mm-hmm. I would have less of an issue with it, but to just say it was the wrong job implies that you were perfect.
Right.
You were fine. You never did anything wrong. And it's It's insane. And I hate Scott Frost for that 2017 UCF team. I hate him a little more now. And I'll say it.
Loses respect for someone else that he didn't know he had.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm glad it didn't work out at Nebraska for him.
Yeah.
But another coach where things really aren't working out for him the way we expected. Kieran, who am I about to talk about? Auburn or Bill Belichick?
Frankly, either will do.
Yeah, it fits both. That's the next two topics. We're going to talk about Auburn. And Hugh Freeze. And before we get into this, I would like to say we are aware of the health issues Hugh Freeze is going through. We hope he gets better. We hope he recovers from this. This is not about him as a person.
No, it's about him as a person.
Either. He's not a great person either.
We don't wish harm on any people.
Yes.
We
don't wish harm on Hugh Freeze specifically.
Yes.
Or in general. We don't wish any harm on Hugh Freeze. However, Auburn, as we've talked about this before, has not been doing great on the recruiting trail. I think they signed a 4-star linebacker, according to some. Unfortunately, those some work for companies that say that he's a 3-star linebacker, but I digress. They're not really getting anyone. Hugh Freeze is just playing a lot of golf, so much so that Golfer's Digest decided to run a story about how much golf he was playing. And on top of that, Lane Kiffin doing Lane Kiffin things, and we can talk about this a bit more after, went back to a May tweet from Hugh Freeze saying, great time at first annual Ryder Cup between MMCC and BCC at Sage Valley. The cup comes home to Auburn this year. Great times. Lane Kiffin retweeted it the other day. Great job, coach. Game is on, which I love Petty Lane. But Hugh Freeze, with all his golf, is now saying, much like Richard Nixon, he has a secret plan to recruit. They're doing it the right way. Everyone else is cheating. Hugh Freeze, known rule follower, standing up for what's right. Kieran, what are your thoughts on Auburn's recruiting woes? And are we about to see a flip on August 1st, like all those delusional ass people in the plains are calling for?
It is too little, too late. If this was the case in March, you could argue that this might get turned around, but it is August. You are nearly at the beginning of the the turnaround in August. You are nearly at the beginning of the season. You don't have any time to turn it around. Like, that's up, right? That's gone out the window. If you want to squeeze in a couple more recruits, a couple more 3-stars, and they turn out to be really productive, that's great. But other than that, you've missed that window. That's the end of it.
Yeah, and I think as the season goes on, you're going to, I don't want to say ignore, but you're going to have other things you have to focus on outside of the next class, which is where they're missing out on a lot of these guys. And to say we're doing it the right way and no one else is, in college football, I say this every week, your team has paid players. Not your team, Auburn Tigers, although they have. Every single team that has won anything in college football has given players impermissible benefits. My team's done it, Kieran, your team's done it. It does not matter. And anyone who says otherwise is delusional. Any Auburn fan who thinks that Hugh Freeze and Auburn are doing it the right way and Hugh's just not trying to get in another back 9 is extra delusional. And it's hilarious. And Hugh Freeze is probably going to be out of a job next year.
Yeah, it's very much Auburn is doing it the right way by letting me continue playing golf so I can enter a charity tournament or something. If Auburn is doing it the right way and Hugh Freeze manages to pull an absolute blinder of a recruitment class over the next 6 months, I will be mightily impressed. But that comes with actually doing your job and not spending all the time golfing. So, priorities there, Hugh.
Yeah, if Auburn does have this miraculous turnaround and somehow for next year's recruiting class finishes top 15 with Hugh Freeze there,
yeah,
I will buy an Auburn jersey and wear it on every show that season.
Whoa, That's all right. You've heard it here first, folks. That's a tall order. But if he does it, it's gonna be so funny.
If he does it, I am going to cry at the beginning. Like every episode, I'm going to be getting ready for it in my room, just crying while putting it on.
We're making some bold claims this year. And it no longer affects anybody else because it's not gambling. It's just us being dumb.
Yeah, and this one, at least, Kieran, is only affecting me.
Very true.
Also, gambling content is coming back this year, Kieran.
Oh, God, no.
Yep, we're not making a competition. I know how we're going to do it.
Okay.
Do you want to know now?
You can tell me after.
Okay.
Unless you're dying to get it out.
It's just going to be, we're just going to pick, we're each going to pick 3 of our best bets for that week, whether it be a spread, a money line, a game,
I see.
Passing over unders, things like that. We each are going to have total control over what we do. It's not me arbitrarily picking games.
All right. I like that.
So if we're worse at it or we're still bad at it, then that's an us issue. If we're better at it, then I just picked dumb games.
All right.
So betting content's back at the tailgate. So tell your friends and tune in this football season to see some of it. And again, don't take anything we say as actual betting advice. We are both admittedly terrible at it. We do not want a bunch of angry emails coming to the Tailgate on the Quad email because you followed our advice. I am not UNC's athletic director. I will not be dealing with those emails in a respectful manner, like the ones he got about Bill Belichick, Kieran. Bill Belichick has been all over the news. I said, we're done talking about this, and they keep making the news, even when the two of them aren't doing anything. UNC, per the Daily Mail's records request, has received a lot of emails directed at Coach Bill Belichick, talking about how much he sucks. In one email obtained by the Daily Mail, Aduna wrote, "What a total embarrassment to UNC. I am withdrawing all my donations and future donations." UNC faculty member said there's not enough money to hire the number of professors we need, but paying a 73-year-old guy with no college football experience $10 million is okay, and then letting him hire his son. That I have a minor issue with, but we'll move on to the rest and then get into it. Another faculty member wrote, when you agreed to pay a king's ransom to hire Bill Belichick, did you also know that you were hiring Jordan Hudson to serve as the primary face of UNC athletics? Normally, I would say the university should not concern itself with its employees' personal lives, but when a prominent employee injects his significant other into the university's affairs, it becomes the university's concerns. She's already an embarrassment, and it's only going to get worse. Please end this circus before the season begins. A lot of people are focused on Steve Belichick, who's now the defense coordinator. Another email. Someone wrote, Jordan Hudson has no business getting involved with Belichick's work-related business at Chapel unless she's on your payroll. It's bad enough the nepotism you've allowed by also hiring Bill Belichick's son. And a UNC grad wrote, Bill Belichick is a disgrace to our university. Please do something. First off, Steve Belichick is a pretty good defense coordinator.
Yeah, seriously. Let's lay off Steve, all right? It's not his fault.
I would call him a pure Nepo baby, and also allegedly none of Belichick's kids like Jordan. So let's leave Steve out of this. He's doing his best, okay? But Kieran, what were your thoughts outside of our defense of Steve? What were your thoughts on those emails?
Well, to the first one, with no college football experience. All right, let's completely ignore all the championships he's won as an NFL coach. The man knows football. Let's okay, I grant you he hasn't done the college experience quite yet, but let's be realistic here, okay? The man knows football. The Jordan Hudson issue is a really interesting one because frankly, I don't get it as a personal thing. I get that there's millions flowing in and probably millions flowing out, but I do think Bill Belichick needs to kind of regain control of the situation and remove Jordan from at least public facing events. If he wants to bring her to a gala or a ball or whatever that's invited, like a private dinner party, that's fine, right? That's a separate thing for your personal lives. But as a coach, it should be very much your show. And Bill Belichick does seem to be getting pushed around quite a lot. So, and it's so weird to see, given the fact that he has been the stern grandfather of football for our entire childhoods. So I don't know why he can't like separate the two, but it just seems awful. And I get where these guys are, these grads, faculty, donors are coming from, but they need to separate between business and personal life, certainly.
I don't think they do. Bill Belichick, the minute he was hired, became the face of the University of North Carolina.
And by extension, Jordan Hudson.
And that's why it's putting their university in a bad light. UNC is a good school. UNC is a basketball school. It seemed like this was maybe changing. Maybe it was going to be a more 50-50 split. Maybe for the next couple seasons, at least, it was going to become more of a football school. But now, whenever I think about UNC, I think about Bill Belichick's child bride.
Which is all the more reason to separate the business and the personal.
But the problem is it's so hard when he artificially inserts her into everything.
Yeah, that is true.
You can say separate the personal. Look, Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson make me wildly uncomfortable.
Yes.
She's younger than us.
Yeah.
And she's engaged to a 73-year-old man. But if that was it, if that was the extent of it, I'd occasionally see on my feed because someone retweets or reposts her story with Bill in the background or something. Whatever. Yeah. She's 24, posting on Instagram with her boyfriend. As uncomfortable as it makes me, that's fine. It's your personal life. But when then there's a Bill Belichick interview and she's there, when there's a UNC practice and she's there, she has become a co-face of the university, and that's not good. I don't think University of North Carolina wants people to see their logo and go, oh, child brides. And that's what they're moving to because Jordan Hudson has made herself such an integral part of the Bill Belichick experience. And I hate it.
Yeah, it's very weird. And whether it's artificial or intentional by Bill, it's got to. He is the one that has to make that separation. It's not on the university. They hired a coach, a great coach, for all intents and purposes, for the job to make UNC better in any way they can, and it's on him to make this happen.
And I think a big part of it is why Bill's doing it, because he did need a little help on the social side, which is technically what Jordan is doing. She manages his social calendar. He's not a very social guy. He did need that to try and relate to kids probably a little bit more. Unfortunately, it took relating to kids to me dating one. But I think he looks at it and goes, yeah, like I'm 73. I'm not as fertile or virile in the bedroom as I would like. I need to do whatever she wants to keep her happy. Not realizing, hey, Bill, do you still have tens of, if not hundreds of $1 million in the bank? It doesn't matter. She's going to stick around.
Yeah.
I think that's also something people don't want to talk about. Is there any universe where she's not just in it for the money?
No.
What do they talk about? Bill Belichick, the wonderful conversationalist that he is, I can't see him relating to a 24-year-old.
Unless she just enjoys the fact that he just shuts the hell up.
That's true. Or unless she just really likes Lawrence Taylor. And that's all she talks about.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible.
Like I have a question, Kieran, that I don't want to think about, but I want to ask.
Oh boy, here we go.
Do you think post-sex, when Jordan allows him to touch her once every quarter, they talk about X's and O's?
Oh, if I had a eraser for my brain.
You're welcome. Or after, do you think she asks, like, do you love me? He just goes, we're on to Clemson. And just ignores If I were a worm, would you still love me, Bill? Not now. We're playing Florida State next week. That's what all my focus is on.
Oh gosh, that's just awful. Because here's the thing. Even if I had an answer for that, none of it will sound good. There's no reality where anything that comes out of my mouth is going to make any of that better.
As disgusting as I find them, I want to know not about what they do behind closed doors in their bedroom.
Yeah, it's you want to know what they talk about. Yeah.
What are the dynamics of their relationship?
I genuinely don't know. Like, is she just like an oldie at heart that just like loves music, like the Charleston and music from the 1940s? Like, is that just her vibe, or is it like, I'm actually just taking you for millions, and
maybe it's both.
Maybe
she was like, you know what, I love going antiquing. Why not sleep with one every night? and when I say sleep with, I mean sleep next to.
Yes.
In no way, shape, or form is Bill Belichick, who's been overweight for at least since we were kids.
Yeah.
73-year-old man doing it every night.
Laying pipe.
Next NIL sponsor for UNC Athletics, Viagra. No, what's the old person one with the bathtubs?
Cialis,
that's it. Yeah. That's who should sponsor UNC Athletics.
that or you know what? I'm not going to say that.
A pump?
No, I was going to say Jurex condoms. Oh God, this is a great college football podcast, isn't it?
Some college football, mostly shenanigans. Last week it was mostly college football, some shenanigans. We are well past that. Yeah. If anyone has any insight into the dynamics of Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson relationship, please DM us at Quad Tailgate on Twitter or Instagram. We need to know. If you have any insights into their sexual relationship, please keep that to yourself.
Very much so. Oh, God.
But, yeah, I think the big question, though, is Bill Belichick going to last until the season?
Well, he's made it over the July 1st hump, so... Oh, shit, I shouldn't have used that word.
Only hump he's done in months. The
roadblock that is July 1st.
I definitely did it on the 4th for America because he loves the Navy. Just loves seamen, But CBS seems to think so. In their latest example of AI taking over culture and just putting out absolute shit on the internet, CBS put out an AI-generated post today. I'm assuming it was not well written, and it was by CBS staff. So unless they fired someone immediately, probably AI. But they put out the coach hot seat, and their ratings are 0 to 0.99 untouchable, 1 to 1.99 safe and secure, 2.2 to 2.99 all good for now, 3 to 3.99 pressure is mounting, 4 to 4.99 start improving now, and 5 win or be fired. They did have Bill sitting at a cool, if I can find it, 2.11, which puts him on the lower end of all good for now. Now, I disagree with that. I get my own rankings, but first, Kieran, let's get into some CBS's. We're not going through all 136. That is absurd. We're just going to go through kind of the untouchables and then the winner be fired or the start improving now to be fired. Sound good?
Yep.
All right. The lowest three, and low is good, this is like golf, are Army's Jeff Monken, Georgia's Kirby Smart, and Notre Dame's Marcus Freeman, all at 0.11. When I saw Marcus Freeman, I was like, why? But then I realized it's a likable coach for Notre Dame, so I actually agree with it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, the Marcus Freeman would be the only name up there that I would drop, but only by a few decimal points. Like, it's not something that would be ridiculous. He did make it all. He didn't make that Notre Dame. He did make that Notre Dame team get all the way to the college football championship, despite not winning it. It was a pretty well called game for the most part. And I think he's a solid coach. I genuinely believe that. Whether he will win a national championship remains to be seen. But for right now, there's no reason for Notre Dame to get rid of him.
No, I agree. I wasn't more surprised that he was safe, but untouchable. Kind of gave me pause, but I thought about it. Next up, at 0.22, these are still in the untouchable comfortably. Kenny Dillingham for Arizona State, Dabo for Clemson, Kurt Cignetti at Indiana, and Dan Lanning at Oregon. Dabo is not untouchable.
Yeah, he is very much win or be fired.
Tyler from Spartanburg and all the other Clemson fans are ready to riot if they have another subpar season. But the rest, Kenny Dillingham put Arizona State on the map in terms of football. Kurt Cignetti did the same, and Dan Lanning is regarded as the next great up-and-coming young coach. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no issues there.
All right, next up, there's only 1.33, and that's Dion, so I'm going to go through some other ones. Matt Campbell at Iowa State at 0.44, Sark at Texas at 0.44 as well, Dowell Loggins at App State at 0.56, and Kyle Whittingham is going to his 21st season at 0.67. Why is Dowell untouchable when he has not coached a game at App State yet?
You're always very much on the hot seat if it's your first season. It doesn't matter how good or new you are.
I think all first-year head coaches should be in the 2 to 2.99 range.
Yeah, that's
good
ridiculous
for now.
Yeah,
unless it's like for some reason Nick Saban comes back and goes to Kent State, then he's not getting fired.
No, absolutely not. There's nothing he could do to make that team any worse.
That's true. Next up, these are 0.78s. Delaware's Ryan Carty, FAU, in his first year. Zach Kitley, Willie Simmons, FIU, also his first season. Matt Entz at Fresno State, also in his first season. Brett Bielema at Illinois. Kansas State's Chris Kyleman. Kennesaw State's Jerry Mack. Jeff Brome at Louisville. Miami of Ohio, Chuck Martin. And SMU's Rhett Lashley. First off, Jerry Mack at Kennesaw State. They just fired their only coach in program history after he got them to a point where they could get to FBS. Everyone in there is 3 to 3.99. Pressure is mounting.
Seriously. I don't know why they'd be so low.
I don't either. I'm like I said, AI. Really.
Yeah, this is 100% AI. If you wrote CBS staff wrote this, that's just AI, and you couldn't attribute it to anybody.
Yep.
I want to see how many spelling mistakes are in this article. I have not checked yet.
I have not looked through it for that. I just looked at the list and then dumped into a spreadsheet to sort it better. Same thing with Ryan Carty at Delaware, by the way. Yes, he was at the FCS level, but we've seen schools fire coaches after 1 year at FBS. Next up, the last bit from the untouchable range. Boise State's Spencer Daniels, Ohio State's Ryan Day, John Summerall at Tulane, Jeff Traylor at UTSA, and Western Kentucky's Tyson Helton. I mean, Ohio State fans are probably pissed, but Ryan Day is untouchable at this point.
Yeah, I was just saying the same thing. I'm like, I guarantee you that the Ohio State fans are ever so ever so close behind the Clemson fans if they get. And here's the thing, like I don't know why, like Ryan Day's Ohio State has won, and they won the big one last year, but everybody wants him nearly gone. They're just like, we can't stand him, whether it's the play calling or the garbage speeches he has or anything. It's ridiculous.
The beard dye. I actually don't think he's untouchable. I think he's all good for now. With Chip Kelly gone and Ryan Day back to calling plays, I would not be surprised if they have a deep fall off.
Yeah.
And he's gone.
Yeah. Very true.
Moving on from the untouchables to the mid section, I find it funny. Mark Carty, moving on to the getting fired soon, the 4 to 4.99, start improving now, and 5 win or be fired. I find it funny, though, Kent State's Mark Carney, in his first year, he is an interim, but he's already at a 3.56, which is pressure is mounting for a team that did not win a game last year and won like one game in the last 2. Their last coach was allegedly betting on college football, and that's why he got fired. But yeah, buddy, you'd better turn it around for Kent State.
It's win or go home.
Insane. But starting off with the bottom tier of start improving now, Scott Satterfield at Cincinnati, a 4. Brent Pry at Virginia Tech, 4.11. Hugh Freeze, Sam Pittman, and Brent Brennan at Auburn, Arkansas, and Arizona, respectively, at 4.22. Oklahoma State's Mike Gundy at 4.33. UAB's Trent Dilfer at 4.44. And Oklahoma's Brent Venables at 4.67. I actually don't have any issue with a lot of those.
No, absolutely not. Especially Mike Gundy, who recently renegotiated his salary down to get another couple of years at Oklahoma State. Like that's you're on the way out, buddy. You better start looking into retirement homes
to not get fired.
Yeah.
And then Louisiana Tech's Sonny Cumbie at 5. He is 11.26. He has been terrible, and they fired Skip Holtz, his predecessor, after going 3-9 in 2021. But the rest of his time there, 5-5 in 2020, 10-3 2019, 2018, 8-5, 2017, 7-6, 16, 9-5, 15, 9-4, 14, 9-5, first year, 2013, 4-8. Why have they not already fired Sonny Cumbie? If they're going to fire a really good coach for you after one bad year, Sonny Cumbie should have been fired.
Yeah, that's one of those things where you're just like, why wait? Just fire him now. Or like fire him at the end of last season. I don't know why he isn't already gone.
And also, like, all these coaches or all these schools are starting to do interim coaches even mid or in the offseason. Just do that. Just fire him, get an interim in there, and go about your day.
Yeah.
Also, Kieran, just for our own schools, I believe. Yep. Kalen DeBoer was at a 2.33, which all good for now. And for your own, did you look up?
Yeah,
Franklin's?
he's at a 1.33.
Oh, 1.33.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is horse manure, because he, after I don't even know how long he's been there now. Oh, now you have things in the right place? Really? Really, Franklin? Now is the time where you turn it on? You had countless good teams, but this is the one that really matters. There better be a silverware this year, or so help me, I am writing to the board and firing your ass. I was so lenient. I was so lenient with Franklin, especially when we started this podcast. We've had this discussion many times. Who's on the hot seat? Is Franklin there? I'm like, oh, well, it was so good. And this, that. No, I have had enough. You either bring home silverware in the form of Big Ten championship or a natty, or otherwise I do not want to hear you say another fucking word. Sorry.
If Penn State has a down year, I'm doing a records request to Penn State's athletic department to find your email. And I don't want you to CC me on it. I don't want you to tell me what it said. I want to see if I can find it.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
But Kieran, as I said, that was a bunch of AI slop. I went through and did my own rankings. And for this, though, I kept it simple. I did not keep I did not do 0.34 for anything. It's you got tiers. 0, contract for life. 1, not going to happen. 2, you need to think about winning now. 3 is it getting hot in here. 4, get the fire extinguisher. 5, learn how to file unemployment. So here are my contract for lifers. Air Force is Troy Calhoun. He's been there for 18 years. He's 130 and 82. I think that's fair. Jeff Monken, same thing. 11 years, great coach for Army. Contract for life. Kirby Smart, contract for life. Kirk Ferentz, 26 years. Iowa is the epitome of mid in his tenure, but it's been 26 years. Just let him die there. It's fine.
Let him die there.
Don't do anything to make him die. Just let him keep coaching until he dies. It's Iowa. You know exactly what you mean. Timmy Chang from Hawaii, even though he's 13 and 25 in his 3 years there, he is a Hawaii legend, so he gets a contract for life.
Yeah, you get to pass.
Matt Campbell and Eli Drinkwitz, I both have contracts for life. I know Missouri had some success right when they joined the SEC, but they were not good for years. They were not thought about for years. Same thing with Iowa State. They both have sort of made their programs not nationally relevant, but not an afterthought anymore.
Yeah.
Which I think is good. I think it's earned them that. Next up, Northern Illinois, Thomas Hammock, excuse me. He is just going to ride the Notre Dame win and get a contract for life. Josh Heupel's Tennessee, same thing really as Iowa State and Missouri with Campbell and Drinkwitz. He's just kind of made them not a joke anymore. Scott Frost at UCF, contract for life just because of 2017. Jim Mora, UConn, made it not a joke. He's made them, I don't want to say legit, but good. So he gets contract for life. Kyle Whittingham, same thing as Kirk Ferentz. He's been there for 20 years. Just let him die there. And Rich Rod at West Virginia because it's Rich Rod. Any thoughts on my contract for lifers, Kieran?
Why Scott Frost is that purely for 2017?
It's for 2017.
Okay. All right.
That's
it. Like there's no other reason? Because
no other reason.
Because apparently don't pick the wrong job is his motto now. So, has he picked the wrong job?
It's who's to say? I guess we'll find out when he's 70, still coaching at UCF with that lifetime contract.
All right.
Also, some other interesting tidbits. I have Scott Satterfield at a 1, which is not going to happen. I think they just joined a Power 5 conference. They did make the cultural playoffs under Luke Fickell, but it's not going to happen. He's there for a while. I think they're going to give him a chance, at least another couple of years. Moving on to, as I scroll bottom, get the extinguisher and learn how to file unemployment, the 4 and 5 tier. Here's what I have for those. Akron, Joe Moorhead, he is 8 and 28 in his 3 years there. I understand it's the Zips, but figure it out. Sam Pittman, I have also at a 4. He is it's just disappointment after disappointment for Arkansas. Justin Wilcox or Cal, I think. Ron Rivera is going to get his way. He's going to get what the boosters want. He's going to get full control. And Wilcox, you are gone. Mike Norvell at Florida State goes without saying. Brian Kelly at LSU, he killed a kid. He's also at a 4. Brent Venables is fucking his way to the unemployment line at a 4. Oklahoma State, Mike Gundy, he's drunk at the wheel. They got to get rid of him. Virginia Tech's Brent Pry. This one's interesting. He is 16-21 in his 3 years there. I think Virginia Tech and their fans up in Blacksburg, are dying to be relevant again. And I think that Brent Pry will be a casualty of that desire. Hugh Freeze at a 5 because he cannot recruit. Sonny Cumbie is also at a 5, just like CBS. He's gone. Bill Belichick is also at a 5 because he cannot stop talking about his child bride. I also have a secret 6th tier, which is a 7 for Dilf because it's Trent Dilfer, and I hate him, and so does every UAB fan.
Yeah, I cannot imagine him. I can't imagine him lasting more than a couple games at UAB. He's had so many random coaching gigs that he's just failed miserably at. He's not even a good commentator, let alone.
He has had no coaching gigs. He was an offense coordinator for a high school that sucked. And
Yeah,
then he
exactly.
became UAB's head coach because he won a Super Bowl with the greatest defense the NFL had seen to that point. And they're like, oh, I guess he's good. I hate Trent Dilfer.
Yeah, he is an ass.
And that is why, Kieran, I'm ready to announce today.
Okay.
Next season's shit they can get with their buyout is going to be Trent Dilfer.
Is it really that bad?
It's $4.1 million, but I hate Trent Dilfer.
All right, then. It's not going to be as extravagant as last time, but...
No, it's Trent Dilfer would be owed $4.1 million if he was fired after December 1st of last December. Pays him base salary $1.2 million per season with a $50,000 radio and talent fee bonus. Getting a talent fee as a head coach is insane. $50,000 promotional and fundraising bonus each season, and that brings it to about $1.3 million. He has a couple years left on that deal. Also based on bonuses for 9 wins, $50,000, 10 wins, $80,000, 11 wins, $200,000, or $80,000 for 11, $200,000 for 12 wins. I think he's had like 4 max. So, yeah, 4-8 and 1-4 at this point last year. This was written in October. They did not do much better. So we're just going to go with that $4.1 million number, and Trent Dilfer will be the next shit you can buy with your buyout, Trent. So, yeah. Kieran, any other thoughts on the hot seat for next season?
Yeah, I think that this whole college football expanded playoff thing is going to introduce a lot of anxiety in athletic directors around the country, and I think people are going to be a little bit more gung-ho with firing coaches who don't perform well. I think that this is going to be a repercussion if players are being able to transfer willy-nilly. I mean, coaches already did that, but I think it's going to be to a greater extent than it has been in the past.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's true. I feel like if you think you have the right team and the coach is not who you think can lead that team, they're gone.
Yeah, it's going to be quick. It's going to be no holds barred anymore. It's not like, oh, well, you know, he did so well for us last season. We want to keep him on an extra 2 years or whatever. No, it's going to be like mid-season, we're dropping you. And it's going to be a very cutthroat world, just purely for results. That's all that matters.
That's fair. And remember, schools, if you are concerned about the buyout, just do what Texas A&M did and sell nuclear secrets to Qatar. Money hacks with tailgate on the quad.
I believe other people would call that treason, but okay.
Well, apparently not, because Texas A&M did not get any punishments for it.
Oh, God.
So you got that going for us. Anyway, that's our show for this week. I was going to say it's a little short. It's like 3 minutes shorter than usual before I edit. So everyone have a good, safe, fun week. Make good choices. Do not sell nuclear secrets to Qatar.
Word of advice.
They're eating the dogs, Kieran, in Tussies.
They're eating the dogs.
You know that?
They were eating
the dogs.
Oh, a meth raccoon.
Yeah.
Just awful. There is nothing good about this. It's the worst possible scenario for the CFP, for the national championship.
Notre Dame is a mid-program with really good marketing.
And the Michigan players are going to look at that, and anybody who's committing to Michigan in the next years will just go, I want to beat them even more. Like, I wanted to beat them when I first came to this school. Recruits are going to see this.
And we're also sorry that you have to watch a Brian Kelly coach football team. We can only imagine how difficult that must be for you, knowing that you're not going to win a big game ever with him as your coach, and that you're rooting for a child murderer.
This podcast has gone off to a really weird start, but I like it.
I love it, though. I'm a big fan.